it goes back a long way in my life. When I was living in New York, although I live in London, I'm married to an Englishman. I am a New Yorker, and my daughter was at school in New York, and somebody was coming to do a lecture. Someone named Jane Leahy, I think is her name, and the book was called Your Child's Growing Mind, and it was really addressing parents about children develop uniquely and differently, and it all has to do with the brain development, that some children make those connections earlier than others. That's why some children are late starters, and that really lit a spark for me. So that must have been 1987, I guess. And then I was studying to be a psychotherapist. I met Paul Brown. So I did all of this later in life. We moved back to London, and I met Paul Brown, and he was just doing a big project for British Telecom. And I took him my dissertation to read, and he said, "Wow, you are a terrific writer. Why don't you come and work with me and do some writing for BT?" I think what's important is to discriminate between stress, anxiety, and pure fear. So we all need some stress in order to perform. I mean, an actor will tell you that. They cannot go on stage and give a good performance if there isn't some nervous tension going on. And then there's anxiety, which begins to tip over into getting worried, and for an actor, potential stage fright. And then when you go right into fear, that becomes crippling and just freezes
Paralyzing.
you up. So it's important to make those distinctions, because people will say quite rightly, well, we need some anxiety, we need some stress in business. How would we ever get anything done? And that's absolutely true. But what you don't want is to trigger into fear systems, because then what a manager is doing is tapping into, instead of the thriving mode, the energy that helps us thrive, they're tapping into the surviving mode, where people are going into the fight, flight, freeze mechanisms. And so people, if you are trying to survive, that's all you're going to be focused on.